We're just getting our shame is going to be in a good revealed way, not painless. We want painless. Okay, I'm gonna give up books. I traveled and I was in a different time zone. It's like jet lag. I woke up at the 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I went to sleep at this. Stacy, that got okay. So we're in chapter 26. You know, Hashem has a sense of humor. He's with finesse. Chapter 26 is all about simcha, happiness, how it's not the end of our service to God, it's the medium. No matter what happens, we need to serve Hashem with simcha. And you know, I always know that everything that I teach, everything that you say, you're gonna be judged in heaven for what you say. And as I was teaching this chapter, I was saying, you know, there's times in life that it's not easy to be with simcha. I understand it. We need simcha in order to be our best selves and to complete our mission, right? Because you cannot send a soldier to war if he's not optimistic and happy, and because otherwise the war is lost already. But what happens in life, as we've seen this week, when there's events that rock us, that shake our very foundation. You know, we say, Hashem, we're trying to serve you. We're trying to do our best. Life is already challenging enough. And then we see these events that, like what happened in New York, and we say, how do we get the simcha? How do we access simcha, right? So the Tanya explains, because we have two souls. We have the animal soul and we have the divine soul. The divine soul is a part of Hashem. No matter what happens in life, the divine soul is in unison with Hashem. So it's always besimcha, because it knows whatever is happening is the plan of Hashem. And if Hashem puts it before us, it's because we're going to triumph. It's going to be good, right? The scary part, you know, I'll tell you something. I was in an airplane, 17 hours, and I was sleeping. And sometime in the flight, the plane started to shake. But, you know, sometimes it shakes a little bit. Like this was a lot. And sometimes it shakes for a few minutes. You say, okay, it's gonna end, it's gonna go. No, it kept on shaking and shaking and shaking and shaking. And as I was there, you know, lying horizontally, what are you gonna hang on to? You know, can I hang on to my chair? What's? And I know, Hashem, this is you. This is you. Yeah, it's scary for me, but I know I'm in your hands, right? That's where we have to keep focused. It's scary. I'm telling you, I was very scared in that airplane. I was very scared, and I was saying, you know, what is going to happen? It's what Hashem wants. And I was once in an airplane, and when it shook, the lady next to me, she started to hang on to the window. You know, it's like what are you hanging on to? Like if the plane goes down, you're gonna go down with it, right? So chapter 26 goes into different facets, into different techniques. How can we keep our simcha in times that are shaking. And one technique is to understand even this is coming from God. There cannot be anybody elected to office here. There cannot be. If in heaven, it hasn't been dictated. It won't happen, right? The story of Yaakov fighting with the angel, it was the angel of Asaph, the protecting, we all have a protecting angel. And once Yaakov triumphed over the angel, Asaph had no power to hurt him. So if this person was elected in New York, it's because in heaven they have dictated this. It's not him, it's him. You know, I heard a rabbi on Shabbat, the rabbi from Singapore, and he was saying that a story of one of, I think it was IDF, a soldier that was kidnapped on October 7th. And the terrorist, the Hamas, calls his mother and says, if you ever want to see your son again, you have to go to the international court, denounce the government in Israel, denounce Israel, right? Imagine, he has her son. He's talking to the mother. I mean, it's like beyond. And what did the mother say to this terrorist holding her son? She says, my son's hands, my son's life is not in your hands. My son's life, you think is in your hands. My son's life is in the hands of Hashem. And yours too. Your life is also in the hands of Hashem. This soldier, after being kidnapped, he was freed. It's beyond. It's beyond. I had never heard this story. Maybe you have heard this story. I had never heard this story. But to understand that there's nothing that could happen in our lives that Hashem is not dictating it, and that is the source of holding on to this simcha, that it's not about Disney World. It's not about, am I getting all my treats and am I getting, the piece of the pie of the world? No, it's simcha because of closeness of Hashem. The Torah has its own dictionary. We think, Hollywood has made us think that simcha is, a party, is like, on a shopping spree. It's just having a good time. But that's not the Torah's definition of simcha. The Torah's definition of simcha is we feel happy when we're close to Hashem, to feel that we are one with Hashem. So therefore, even Chas v'Shalom, in difficult times, we can find the simcha in understanding we are close to Hashem. I mean, I've always believed I'm going to live Mashiach times. We are living Mashiach times. We just have to pray to Hashem. Hashem, please, I want it to be done in a painless way, right? In a painless way. But this is Mashiach time. This is all part of Mashiach times. Okay, let's go on to we're on chapter 26. Okay, 26. It's hard for me to remember where are we in this class, but okay, which page? Okay, I think we're here. Okay, so 152, where it says healthy teshuva. One of the worst kinds of depression visits us after we have done something wrong. How could I have done that, right? It's not only that Hashem has not made us angels. We are people. We are fallible. We are going to fall, right? Even if we try to do everything right, we're going to make mistakes. So when we make the mistake, okay, we have to realize, we have to accept, I made a mistake. I did something wrong, right? We take responsibility. But then we have to move on, because life is about, we have a mission and we're here to do, and we said we have to regain our simcha as soon as possible in order to go on. But what about those thoughts of depression that keep me, oh my gosh, I did a mistake. I said something I shouldn't. I did something I shouldn't. You know, how bad I am. What's going to happen to that? It's going to keep me looking to the past, and I'm not going to be able to be in the present or go into the future. I'm just, berating myself. And the more I berate myself, what happens? I cannot access simcha, and I cannot be the best version of myself. And I'm just, going like this and this, right? Okay. So it says one of the worst kinds of depression visits us after we have done something wrong. So we have to understand, because we have two souls, just because we get a thought doesn't mean that's who we are. Just because we get a thought doesn't merit that we should think about that thought. So the mind is a place. It's like my telephone. It's where calls take place. But I have to choose which calls I answer, right? Because there's a lot of telemarketing. And so if it's telemarketing, I'm not going to answer it. I'm not going to waste my time, right? So I choose. So this Tanya is telling us everything in the physical world, there's a parallel in the spiritual. So too in our mind. Our mind is just a place where thought takes place. And because we have two souls, not all the thoughts that we get are worthy of being thought out. I feel as a teenager, I didn't know all this. I wasted a lot of time on thoughts of depression, because life hurts. You see things that are sad, and I would just get sad about it. And looking back, I said, wow, I wasted so much time, because these thoughts don't get you anywhere. You don't solve anything. You're not going to change the world like that. Not at all, right? I mean, we see what's happening in New York, and if we stay positive, we can say, okay, what do we need to do? We need to organize ourselves, right? We need to focus on more mitzvot. We have to bring more good into the world. We have to prevent this from happening in other cities. We have to, yes, things that we can do. But if I just allow thoughts of depression to get into myself, I'm going to go into my bed and, I'm not going to change anything, right? Okay, so, these thoughts can torment us for weeks, months, and even years, preventing us from experiencing true joy. How are we to deal with the sadness that results from the mistakes that we may have made, from agonizing thoughts of guilt and regret? I mean, it could be big things also. I broke up a marriage. I broke up the family. I educated my son in a not right. Now I know the light. Now I know different parenting techniques, right? There's major things in life, right? But are we supposed to berate ourselves and just say, how could you do this? How could you be so awful? I was in the airplane, right? I'm telling you all these long hours. I was cold. I had one blanket, and I saw a chair that nobody was there. So I saw the package of the blanket. So I said, okay, there's nobody here. I'm going to take it. Later on in the flight, do I see somebody there? I felt so bad. Oh my gosh, I took this person's blanket. Whoa, baby. You know what? Let's move on. I did a mistake. I should have asked. I should have said something. Okay, but I didn't know. I didn't mean to steal somebody's blanket, right? Okay. Of course, the proper response to negative behavior is teshuvah. And we know teshuvah has to be in 3 parts, right? This is from the Tanya. There's teshuvah in the past, teshuvah in the present, and teshuvah in the future. Teshuvah in the past is what? Is recognizing, accepting, yes, I did something wrong. accepting, because if I don't accept, I'm never going to change anything, right? A person that has an addiction, the whole family is telling them, you're ruining the family, you're ruining yourself, please change. You know, they can talk from today till 100 years. The person doesn't, I don't have a problem. I don't have any problem, right? So teshuvah in the past is acceptance, is responsibility. I have done something wrong. Teshuvah in the present is stop doing that you shouldn't do. That's it. I speak bad about people. Oh, I feel so bad. I speak bad about. Stop speaking bad about people. Just stop that action. That's teshuvah in the present. But then there's also teshuvah in the future. Why? Because if we only do teshuvah in the past, I accept I did something wrong. Teshuvah in the present, I stopped from doing it. What happens in the future? I'm put again in the same circumstance, right? And I act the same way. Like the next time I'm in an airplane and it's dark and everybody's sleeping and there's no somebody in the chair, I say, oh, I did something wrong, but you know what? I just take another blanket. No, teshuvah in the future is I need a plan. So my plan is next time, you know, every time I get together with my friends and we speak Lashon Hara, I say, oh, I feel so bad, you know, how I spoke bad about people. But the next time I'm in a social setting and I have that peer pressure, and again, I have nothing to talk about, again, we're going to speak about Lashon Hara, right? So teshuvah in the future is have a plan. So maybe I can read an article, maybe I can write down a few things we could talk about, right? Or maybe I can change friends, you know, really, or something. But I need teshuvah in the future is have a plan, all right? So, but teshuvah does not mean dwelling on thoughts of guilt whenever they pop into our head. So this is saying, because we are here on a mission, all of us, we're called Tzivas Hashem, we're the army of Hashem, we're on a mission. So if I have thoughts of teshuvah during the day, right, as I'm taking care of my family or cooking or working, or it's not the time. In Hashem's world, okay, go ahead. In Hashem's world, Hashem is very orderly. Time, tranquila. Time is a creation. The essence of Hashem, there's no time and space. But in our world, there is time, there's a clock, and there's space. So everything needs to be in a certain time. If I do something when I shouldn't do it, even if it's very noble, it's not coming from a good place. It's coming from the Yetzer Hara. Why? Because the first sin was that Adam and Eve were in the garden. The fruit that they weren't supposed to eat from was grapes, right? And they were created 3 hours before Shabbat. What was prohibited 3 hours before Shabbat, if they would have held on 3 hours, on Shabbat, Hashem would have told them, now take from that tree and make wine. Take from those grapes and make wine, and now do kiddush. So that was prohibited, now it's not only permitted, it's kedusha, it's elevated, it's sanctified. Okay? So because they ate from the tree before, that constituted the first sin. All of our transgressions are the wrong thing at the wrong time, right? So let's see. Okay. In fact, it is very unwise to think about our mistakes throughout the day. That is exactly what the Yetzer Hara wants us to do. The Yetzer Hara wants us to be depressed and reminds us of our guilt just to bring us down. So, you know, I'm going about my work or my things or the things I have to do, my errands, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm so bad. I did this, you know, yesterday. I did this a week ago. Oh. It's just pulling me back. The Yetzer Hara is an agent of God. It has a purpose, right? ¿Lo encontraste? Did you find it? Where is it? But why don't you go and get it? Anda, búscalo, no vas a estar tranquila. Okay. Go ahead. La cartera. Her purse.
Llegué aquí, trabajé en el coche, yo venía sin la chaqueta, lo dejé ahí afuera, o sea, al lado de las escaleras, me puse la chaqueta y dejé la bolsa, y me traje todo y metí mi lonche aquí, y mi bolsa.
Go ahead, Emilia.
Baño, ¿no? De aquí. Yo me puse la bolsa. No sé qué extraño.
Okay. Tranquila. Go. Okay.
Perdón.
It's okay. Go resolve. Okay. So
you said Jehovah is an agent of God.
yes, the Yetzer Hara, of course, it's an agent. The serpent in Gan Eden was an agent of God, right? That's a Yetzer Hara. What is its job? Its job is to make us fall. But why? Does Hashem want us to fall? No. Hashem wants us to race, it's like a relay race, like an obstacle course. The obstacle is not there for the runner to fall. The obstacle is there for the runner to exert himself and to get the best out of him and to jump over it. The Yetzer Hara is just the temptation. This situation that has arisen in New York, it's not for us to be pulled down. It's for us to get the best out of us and for us to triumph over this. All right. So, okay. The Yetzer Hara wants us to be depressed and reminds us of our guilt just to bring us down. The proper response to the thoughts of regret over the mistakes is firstly to push those thoughts away. So I have to push them away, right? Tell yourself, now is not the right time for this. I will think about my mistakes later at a better time. And it's very interesting. The Tanya says we should have moments where we have to think about our inventory, just like a store. A store cannot make inventory in the middle of the day. It cannot. It's going to lose its customers. But it can shut down the store for a few hours. I was in a museum of science, and I love to see the parts of the museum for the children. And I was very taken aback that before you enter the children's part, it said, closed between the hours of 12 to 12:30, and from, I think it was like 2:30 to 3 o'clock for cleaning. I had never seen that before. They said special times, and it's going to be closed, and we're going to clean. We're going to clean deeply, and we're going to respect ourselves. And the rest of the time, it's open. So too to ourselves, right? It's the order. I have to have a time. You know what? I could put in my calendar. Today, from 10 o'clock at night till 10:15, I can think about, my mistakes or the things I have to better myself. That's it. Okay. All right. So next, set aside a specific time in your week to do a cheshbon nefesh. Cheshbon nefesh is an introspection, inventory of myself. During that time, think about your week. Think about what you have done right and what you could have done better. Now is the right time to do teshuvah over your mistakes. But when you're doing teshuvah, make sure to do it right. Improper teshuvah is focused on you. Now there's another technique. It's not about me. Let's see what it says. Proper teshuvah is focused on the one that you have hurt. Practically, this means that when you sit down to do teshuvah, don't think, I'm such a bad person. How could I have done that? Instead, think, Hashem is so great, and I have sinned against him. These thoughts will allow you to feel the gravity of your sin and the pain you have caused Hashem. With these feelings of sincere regret, you can genuinely ask for and gain Hashem's forgiveness. after completing our Teshuvah session, we can and should be confident that Hashem, our loving Father, has fully forgiven us, allowing us to be truly happy once again. No, nothing.
They say I took it with me.
It's in the cameras.
It's in the camera that I took it from here, but I haven't moved. So.
Mm.
No entiendo.
Did you take something to eat?
No. No estoy entendiendo qué está pasando.
A ver, tranquila. Breathe, breathe. Why don't you look in your car? Maybe you didn't bring it. Did they see in the cameras that you had it? Did they see in the
Yes.
cameras? But pues you went there to get a book, but I don't know. No? No? Okay. Tranquilo. I would go to your car. Anda tu carro. Maybe it's there. Okay. All right. So, I think the gist of it is once I called Honey Lipsker when I just came here and I complained about something. And I was used to, I'm going to call the Rebbitzin and I'm going to complain and then I'm going to hang up the phone, right? You did your part, right? And as I'm in the phone, I'm about to hang up. She says, okay, and how do you resolve it? How do you resolve it? And it was like the first time that I was that I was put in the situation, not only if you're going to complain about something, now have a plan of how to resolve it, right? So I think that this is what this chapter is telling us. It's not, the Sephardic have what do you call it? A segula, a custom that they don't pass salt between the hands of one person to the other. Have you seen that? They don't pass salt. If you're in a table and you need the salt, they're not gonna give it to you in your hand. They're gonna put it here and you have to take it from here. The same thing with a knife, right? Why? Because the tale is that if I pass salt from one person to the other, we're gonna fight. It's gonna cause a fight. Or if you pass a knife, it's gonna cause a fight, right? Okay. And I'm Ashkenaz. My husband is Sephardi, and I always wondered, but of course we're gonna fight. It's natural to fight. It's not a big deal. You're gonna fight. So what? The bigger mind is, are we gonna be able to resolve our differences? It's not like a wonder, oh my God, we had a fight. No, the world is not over because we had a fight. It's, can you be the bigger person? And now how do I move on? How do I resolve the fight? Right? I was listening to Rabbi Jacobson, Yossi Jacobson, and he said something, I never heard it before. He said, do you know why we break a glass under the chuppah, in the marriage ceremony? I never heard this explanation. And he gave it in the name of another rabbi. He said, because in the moment that we're getting married, we're breaking the glass, because when we got married to Hashem, which was on Shavuot, when we received the Torah, we got married to Hashem. Afterwards, we did the golden calf. We broke the marriage. And even though we broke the marriage, Hashem accepted us back. That's why we break the glass. Isn't that crazy? And in the chuppah, we're saying the marriage is gonna be bigger than the times that we're gonna break it. I mean, it's like something so that we made a mistake. That's not the focus that we should have on the mistake. It's like we can go on, we can repair it. I don't want to sever the relationship with Hashem. I want to make amends with that. And what's gonna do that for us, that focus, is it's gonna, we are good and we can be better. And even if I fail, it's part of being human, but I can be better. Okay. All right. So, okay. So, proper teshuvah. Okay. What do we do? Okay. Practically, this means 152 here, that when you sit down to do teshuvah, don't think I'm such a bad person. How could I have done that? Why? If I think I'm a bad person, eventually, because in our DNA, it goes even like way back. When Hashem created the world, he created the world initially because it gives him pleasure. He made it, he doesn't need anything, but he created that the world gives him pleasure. So in our spiritual nucleus, if we could see it, in the middle, the neutron would be pleasure. That's what we crave, pleasure. Now there's pleasure of eating a chocolate, that's pleasure. Or there's pleasure of serving Hashem, of being close to Hashem. That's a spiritual pleasure. Education, did you find it? Where was it? In your car. Yeah.
Open with that door open.
Okay.
Thank God.
Okay.
Love Hashem. Thank God.
Okay.
Abierto.
But
We made a mistake.
but Emilia, it's because we're studying about this. So how are we gonna react? Okay, how are we gonna react? Okay, so we made a mistake.
Huge.
Okay, and
Thank
okay,
God this time now.
okay, and you know what? The quicker we recover, the quicker we get out of, okay, now I understand. Next time I have to close my circle. Next time I have to make sure my car is closed, and then the quicker we can move on, the better we're gonna be. It's like quickly. Yes, react. Yes, accept. Yes, I made a mistake. Now let's go on. Okay, that's it. Thank you. It was like a show and tell. This was staged. Okay, it was staged for the class. Okay.
It was nice soul for 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. It's all good. See. All right. So I was on to something, but I okay, one second. Okay, so because pleasure is built into our system, education is, a little child. What is pleasure to them? It's a candy, sweet, a smile, applause, right? All of that is pleasure. But what is education? Is to learn how to change my values from a candy to the pleasure of serving Hashem. Like for me, to be here right now, it's pleasure. This is pleasure. To be talking about spirituality, to be talking about Hashem, to be talking about profound things, this is pleasure. I was, I'm telling you, I was in Singapore. My husband had to work there. I'd never gone there before. There's many things that were very nice. The people are very polite. Everything's very clean. There's not a paper in the street. But many parts of it are just like one big shopping mall. It's like ad nauseum. It was like shopping till it was like, these are the stores there, like the high brand stores are like museums, and it's not like one in a place. It's like another one and another one next to it, and it's like ad nauseum. And you could find pleasure in that, or you can find pleasure in this. It's two different kinds of pleasure. There's pleasure in pampering myself, my physicality, or there's pleasure in spirituality, in service, in touching something deeper than just physicality. Yeah.
It's not find friends on the road.
Okay.
Because we are here to experiment that pleasure also.
100%. And that's what I love about Chabad. It doesn't neglect the physical. Rather, it teaches us to infuse the physical with spirituality. How can I connect the physical? Like the Rebbe told Hani and the rabbi to make the most beautiful synagogue, that it should be nicer than any of the houses of the people around. So that's taking physicality, the beauty of physicality, but it's totally infused with spirituality. But when we have just physicality that has no spirituality, that's like a dead body. It's like a body without a soul, right? So education is how to fuse both of them, 100%. Okay? Because the level of neglecting physicality that's for very, very few people. Okay. All right. So, and wait, but the thought was that because we crave pleasure, if we think of ourselves as, I am so bad, I did this mistake, I am so fallible, and we feel bad, because intrinsically I seek pleasure, what's going to happen if I stay in that mode, it's not going to make me a better person. It's going to make me to search for instantaneous gratification. Maybe comfort food. Maybe I have to something that I don't want to feel this depression. I don't want to feel the pain. Maybe some addiction. Maybe let's go shopping. When the going gets tough, the tough go shopping. Let me try to not think about things, but maybe in an artificial way. Maybe let's take some chemical that's going to give me a pleasure, even if it's like for just a second, because I don't want to feel the pain of feeling fallible. Are we understanding? It's very deep, okay? But the Alter Rebbe is telling us, yes, we have to accept when we make a mistake. Once you accept, now move on. Move on. Don't stay in that mode of, yes, I made a mistake. That is a responsibility. But now I don't want to sever my relationship with Hashem, and I'm going to move on as quickly and as efficiently as possible to regain my joy. Okay. All right. So instead, think Hashem is so great and I have sinned against him. These thoughts will allow you to feel the gravity of your sin and the pain you have caused Hashem. With these feelings of sincere regret, you can genuinely ask for and gain Hashem's forgiveness. After completing our Teshuvah session, we can and should be confident that Hashem, our loving Father, has fully forgiven us, allowing us to be truly, truly happy once again. So it's very interesting because we're going to go on to the Tehillim. This class is half Tehillim. And in the Tehillim, it's going to talk about just King David, exactly about this concept. Okay, so let's go into our Tehillim. So believe we're in 8 or 9. 9, in Tehillim number 9. Let me just mention a few things. So just as a form of introduction for today's class in Tehillim, it says that Moses and David had similar lives, and Moses brought the Torah from heaven, and King David gave us the Tehillim, okay? And Moses was the king, Moses fought the wars, Moses gave us the Torah. King David fought wars, right? King David was a shepherd, just like Moses. Moses was a shepherd, right? And both of them, when they were shepherding their sheep, right? Moses, once he was tending the sheep of Yitro, of his father-in-law, and one sheep went off, and he pursued the sheep, and he went off a long ways. And a long ways afterwards, he saw the sheep was drinking water in a little river. And he looked at the sheep and he said, "Oh, you must be very thirsty, and you must be very tired." So he took the sheep and carried it back. And when Hashem saw how Moses took care of the sheep, he said, "You know what? You are the right shepherd for my flock, for the Jewish people, because you have this empathy. You had the empathy on a sheep, then you're going to have empathy on people." Okay, that's how Moses was chosen by God. King David, they tell us, when he was shepherding the sheep of his father, right? How would he shepherd the sheep? Because you have the older sheep, you have the adults, and you have the little, I don't know what you call them, the little baby sheep. Okay? And when he would let them graze, when he would let them eat grass, what would happen? Have you seen when the birds on the beach eat? What do? The strong ones, they take the food, and the little ones are trying to get it, and the strong ones eat it, and the little ones don't get, right? So King David saw this, and what he would do is he would make like a little corral, and he would put the babies there, and he would put in another corral. Do you say corral? Yeah, corral. He would put the adult sheep, and then he would put the very older ones. And so he would first let out, was it the baby ones? He would first let out the baby sheep, and the baby sheep would take just the first little part of the grass, because they have baby teeth, so they would just eat the little top. Then he would take out the very elderly of the sheep, and they have bigger teeth, but they don't have so much strength, so they would take out the middle part of the grass. And then he would let out the adults who were strong, and they would take out the whole grass. When Hashem saw the sensitivity of David on how he used to feed the flock, he said, "This is the right shepherd for my flock, for the Jewish people." Okay? So Moses and David have parallel lives, but the distinction is that Moses represents Torah, which is Chokhmah, which is the mind, and David represents Malchut. Malchut is royalty. Malchut is the king that is the physicality. The king is responsible to make sure that the people are taken care of, are protected, are fed, right? So Moses represents the mind, and David, that composed Tehillim, he's called the sweet singer of Israel. It said that all the Tehillims had different chants, different songs. So David represents the heart. Moses represents the mind, how we study Torah, and David represents the heart, the feeling. Okay? Now, It says that studying Tehillim and reading Tehillim will involve both, because we're not just reading it or saying it with our heart, but when we study it, we're also using our mind. And this is what we should do. We should combine both, okay? All right, so Psalm 9. Okay, 1 second, let me open up my two books. I'm following these two books that are, this is like unbelievable information here, and this one. Every word is incredible. Okay. Okay. So it says like this. La Menatzer. La Menatzer is a type of song upon the death of Laban. Now, Laban could be many things. There's many different interpretations to every word in Tehillim. And some say that Laban is Goliath, because when King David killed Goliath, right? And Goliath was this tremendous giant that would be in the sight of the Philistines, and he would mock the Jews, and he would say, you know, who do you have that's gonna come and fight with me? And the Jews were really scared. This was a real force. Remember Iran before Israel attacked it? It was like this nuclear power that was scary, right? It was like Goliath. And when David came, and with just a few stones, right? And with one stone, he killed him, even though Goliath was wearing this armor that was completely from head to toe, but there was a little space between his eyes. That's where David shot the stone, right? And afterwards, when Goliath, he dropped to the ground, then David went over to him, and with his own sword of Goliath, he killed him. So for the conductor on the death of Laban, this is Goliath, a song of David. So this was composed by King David. I will thank Hashem with all my heart. So what does it mean with all my heart? So in the heart of a person, you know, that's what you feel. Like sometimes you can say something because it's the right thing to say. So where's it coming from? It's coming from your mind. I don't really feel it, but you know, I know the words I have to say, so it's coming from here. But when you say something with your heart, that's like all of you, right? It's coming from all of you. So King David is saying, everybody knows, it was impossible for me to defeat Goliath. I was only able to defeat him. This is from God. Like this is something that is from God, and this is something that the whole world knows is from God. So that's why it says, I will thank Hashem with all my heart, because now it's like, it's not like I'm not getting the credit. And it's not just me that I'm thinking maybe this was Hashem that loved. No, this is like everybody recognizes it. So it's like my whole heart is able to proclaim this. I will proclaim all of your wondrous deeds. So all of these wonders that you have done. Okay. All right. So also here they're telling us that in many of the Tehillim, King David is not only talking about past events, he's talking about the present, and he's talking about the future. So he's not only talking about Laban being something that Bain, the Laban is like le Bain, it's between the. So it's not only talking about Goliath as something that was a nemesis to the Jewish people, but also about the future antagonist of the Jewish people. How Hashem, just like he rescued us from Goliath, he's going to rescue us, God willing, from this person in New York and from all our enemies. Okay. Okay. Let's go on. Okay. So wondrous deeds. I will rejoice and exalt in you. Number 3. I will rejoice and exalt in you. I will sing praise to your name, Most High. So this is your name, as we said. It's like everybody, the whole world is going to recognize that this is from you. When my enemies retreat, they will stumble and perish from your countenance. So this is a prophecy also of the future, where Nathan the prophet is talking also about, not only is it talking about Goliath, it's also talking about King David himself. King David himself, when he did the episode with Bathsheba, we all know what went on there. So he did a mistake. He says, I did a mistake. And what happened is that Bathsheba was pregnant from being with David. And the prophet Nathan comes to him and says, because you did this relationship in an improper way, this child is going to die. And the first son that Bathsheba had with David, he was born, he lived 7 days, and then he died. And when he died, King David felt very bad, but he also felt relief in a certain way, because he felt bad because the child died, but he felt relief because he recognized this also means that Hashem has forgiven my sin. Are we together? So in this Tehillim number 9, it's not only I'm rejoicing for what you have done for me in the past with Goliath, but also what you're going to do for us in the future. Okay? When my enemies retreat, they will stumble and perish from your countenance. For you executed my judgment and my cause. This is what it says. You executed my judgment and my cause, which means you judged me, but you have found grace and you have been able to forgive me. You sat on your throne, O righteous judge. You destroyed peoples. Peoples are talking about Amalek. So not only is it talking about Goliath, it's also talking about our enemies, Amalek, which Amalek is the first of the nations when we left Egypt to attack us. And what they wanted to do to us is they wanted to cool us off. As we were saying in the beginning of this class, we need to face life with joy. And when there's nations that try to inflict terror, like Hamas, doubt that Hashem is going to be with us. So this is Amalek. So it says, you destroyed peoples, you destroyed Amalek, and doomed the wicked. Okay. You blotted out their name for all eternity. Like what is going to happen in the future. Amalek's name and the nation of Amalek is going to be blotted out for all eternity. The enemy is finished. This is talking about Mashiach times. So in this Tehillim, we're not only talking about the past, we're talking about the present, we're talking about the future, when all our enemies are going to be vanished from the world in Mashiach times because of the eternal sword. As for the cities that you uprooted, which are the cities that he uprooted is in this parsha of the week, Sodom and Gomorrah. And it's very interesting. I was listening yesterday to the Rabbi Shiner. Rabbi Shiner is the Chabad rabbi from Palm Beach Synagogue. Very nice man. And he was comparing what happened in New York, this person that's being elected in New York, and now the New York mayor New York is comprised of 5 boroughs. And he compared this to the Parsha of the week, where Hashem destroys Sodom and Gomorrah, and Sodom and Gomorrah were comprised also of how many cities? 5 cities. So in the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, because of their decadence, yet Lot is saved, the righteous are saved. So Rabbi Shiner was just comparing this to the Jewish people that will be saved. Okay. So as for the cities that you uprooted, this is Sodom and Gomorrah. Every remembrance has perished. Number 5, this is Tehillim number 20, if you want to follow. But Hashem is enthroned forever. So enthroned forever, enthroned, sitting, it means permanence, means something that is not ever changing. So even though things could happen in our world, yet Hashem as the judge is always forever as a king. He has prepared his throne for judgment, and he will judge the world with righteousness. So with righteousness means, even though, very interesting, look what it says. The word that is used, tevel, is derived from the word balal, which means to mix. Even though the world is mixed in confusion, does it sound like what we're living? Confusion, denoting the world of mankind in all its confusion, a lawless, chaotic state. It's you know what? It's incredible that we're living in these times, because what did the mayor say in New York? He wants to debunk the police, right? Take out the police, which will bring chaos to this, right? More chaos, more crime, right? And I was listening to him saying that if two people are fighting, who do you want to come to fix the fight? You don't want a person with a gun that's a police. You want somebody that just will talk nicely to them. Okay. So the confusion, lawless, chaotic state, God will ultimately reorganize the world, setting up a permanent, secure standard of justice. This is what it means that Hashem is sitting on his throne, that justice will come and all this confusion of the world will be over. And he will judge the world with righteousness, okay? Judging the nations in fairness. Hashem will be a tower of strength for the oppressed. When it says the oppressed, this is the Jewish people. Talking about the Jewish people. A tower of strength in times of distress. So King David, before the episode of Goliath, there's 2 episodes that they tell us about him in the Tanakh. It's once when he was faced with a lion, and Hashem allowed him to give him the strength to kill the lion with his bare hands. And also another episode where he was in front of a bear, and also he was able to kill the bear with his hands. So what happens is that it's telling us when David went out to battle Goliath, it wasn't like some person going on a suicide mission. He didn't think that Goliath was going to kill him. He wasn't out to like commit suicide. He reasoned, Hashem helped me in this time of my distress. When I had the lion, Hashem helped me, gave me amazing, supernatural powers. In the time of the distress of the bear, Hashem helped me. So too is Hashem going to help me now. This is what he's saying. Because Hashem doesn't send to us, distress randomly. It's moments in our lives. But King David is saying, in the moments of our lives where we are in distress, Hashem will help us as he has helped me. Okay. And those knowing your name will trust in you, for you forsake not those who seek you, Hashem. When we call out to Hashem, he's going to help us. Sing praise to Hashem who dwell in Zion. Proclaim among the nations his deeds. So even though the temples were destroyed, Hashem's presence and Shekhinah is in Mount Zion, in Jerusalem. For he who avenges blood has remembered them. He has not forgotten the cry of the afflicted. Have mercy on me. So he who avenges blood means that Hashem is keeping a recording of every Jewish drop of blood that has been spilled, and those people will be judged. You know, I'm sure you heard the hostage that was freed. I don't remember his name, that was freed recently, and it's so sad to hear the sadistic, I don't know what to call it, terror inflicted on this man. And he's saying every day it was terror and sadism and acts of physical violence and sexual violence that was inflicted on him to break him. Every drop of Jewish blood that has been spilled by the nations, Hashem will avenge. This is what this Tehillim is saying. Okay, I ran out of time. All right, next time, Tehillim number 10. You know, I really believe that this is talking to us, and we have to gather the strength from the Torah, and Hashem should send us Mashiach in a good way. Thank you.